Hey friend, it's Brandon Gustafson with Assisted Living Investing. Excited to have you here with me. I help beginners like you launch their assisted living business in the next 12 months. Excited to be chatting with you today. Our topic is the alarming consequences of not having workers' comp insurance. This actually came from somebody in a comment on YouTube who is wondering about workers' comp. Do you need it? Is it required? And so I really wanted to dive into that for you today so you understand what workers comp is, how it works, and if you need it or not, for you to be successful as you're trying to launch your assisted living business. It can be really confusing. Insurance is hard. It's confusing. It's expensive. It's one of the five main expenses that I see, or from my experience, in owning an assisted living business. It's one of the big ones that you need to be aware of, and so that's something that I wanted to really dive in with you on this, so you understand exactly what you're getting into. Okay, so with that, I think I've got everything posted on the other stuff. I think I figured out Facebook's new little way of sharing things. So fingers crossed that it worked. But with that, I want to remind you to go and grab your free business plan checklist. It will be over here, just kind of over on the side, for you to go grab that assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. Go make sure you grab that free business plan checklist to help you out as you are trying to build your foundation to get started. It is the most important thing you can do as you're trying to start your assisted living business, is build a foundation. And a key component, one of the most important things you can do there, is building a solid business plan. So make sure you go and grab that checklist to help you out along your way. Now let's get into this, the alarming consequences of no workers comp insurance and what that's going to look like. For those of you who are new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Brandon Gustafson. I have owned and operated assisted living facilities since 2020. I've done that remote. I live in Utah. I've owned facilities in Colorado and in Utah, or Colorado and in Idaho. I also have a master's in healthcare administration. I've worked in the healthcare industry since 2011. I know what I'm doing. I've also started these buying new facilities from the ground up, or from the beginning, and have secured $1.5 million in SBA funding. I've also had a few issues with workers' comp, so I'm going to get into that at the end of the video today. So if you're interested in hearing about some of my experiences with workers' comp, make sure you stick around until the end of the video, because I've got some fun stuff for you to help you out as you're trying to figure out, do you need this or not? So let's start off with some of the basics. What is workers' comp insurance? So I'm going to say workers' comp because I'm just used to it. Workers' comp means workers' compensation fund insurance. It's basically there to help cover workplace incidents. So something happens, somebody cuts their finger while they're on the job, somebody breaks a leg, something like that, something that you hope does not happen. Workers' comp insurance is there to cover that. It's there to help you as a business owner not have to pay for all of those things out of pocket. Helps reduce some of those medical burdens, the medical costs that could happen to your employee. Reduces those as well. So it's a really good benefit for you to have, for your employees, for you to have this in place so that they don't get stuck with a huge medical bill. Takes out some of the liability in the event that something like this does happen to you, which you want to avoid, and gives you some extra protection there. It provides medical coverage. So somebody cuts their finger, they have to go to the hospital. Let's say it's a bad cut and they need to get stitches. Stitches. I'm not sure what word I was trying to say there. You have to get stitches. Workers' comp is going to help cover that. The stitches help cover any follow up. Maybe it's got infected. They're going to have to look at it. Medicine, whatever. It's going to help cover that. It can also help cover lost wages in certain circumstances. So if a person were to break their ankle and they had a job where they had to be up, like in assisted living as a caregiver, you've kind of got to be up and be able to walk around and work. If they were to break their ankle on the job, has to be on the job, but if they broke their ankle on the job doing an approved work activity, then there could be some wage replacement for them through workers' comp insurance. So that's the benefits of it. It's kind of what it is and how it functions. So do you need workers' comp insurance? It is actually a legal requirement in every single state except for Texas, because Texas does things on their own. So that's something you want to be aware of. But even in Texas, if you are working on a government contract, which could potentially be Medicaid, then you will likely need to have workers' comp. Okay, so it is going to be unless you're in Texas, it is 100% required. For every other state, it's a legal requirement, and even in Texas, there may be stipulations where you want to do it. Even if it's not required, you're in Texas and it's not required for you, I still would highly recommend that you get workers' comp. The amount of money that you pay into it, I'm going to talk about this here at the end of the video, but it's worth it. There's been experiences that I've had that I'm grateful that we had workers' comp and that we were able to have that in there, because it saved us a lot of money, and protected us from liability. From certain circumstances. So it's something that, even if it's not required, I would suggest that the person who asked this question on YouTube was wondering if it was required in California. The answer is yes, it is going to be required in California. You have employees, you are required to have workers' comp insurance. So you need to make sure you get that. Now, let's talk about a little bit of what it costs to get this. So I'll also, let me really quick. I want to see. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this, where to find workers' comp, before I get into how much it costs. So when you are looking for workers' compensation insurance, when you want to find that, especially as a small residential facility, it can be hard to find it. So if you start looking for workers' comp online, you start looking, you put that search term into your YouTube algorithm, you are going to be inundated with all kinds of, of ads. They'll come out of just out of nowhere. There's so many of them, and you're going to get, here's this one. It's nationwide. Here's that one. You can do this. Here's this one for this state. You're going to get a ton of different workers' comp options that are coming to you. And you might think, oh, cool, I've got all these options. And sorry if you can hear the screaming up there. My daughters are playing, apparently screaming. I don't know if you can hear it, but I can. Anyways, let's see. You're going to get those. But what you're going to find is that not all of those are going to be able to provide you with the workers' comp insurance that you need. Ultimately, what it comes down to is, if you are a brand new business and you're kind of in this kind of weird world of, you do provide care, but you're not providing the same amount of care as a nursing home, and you're just kind of in this weird kind of go between. I have found that workers' comp is actually hard to get unless you go to a state-based workers' comp insurance fund. So each state is going to have their own version of this that they run. In Idaho, it's called the State Insurance Fund, SIF. In Utah, it's Workers' Compensation Fund, WCF. In Colorado, it's through Pinnacle. So each of those states, they have it's kind of not run by the state, but it's a state approved one, and it's done. I'm not sure exactly how they build that out, but it's a state approved one, and they will cover you. And you might find that they are the only ones that can or will cover you. So that's something you want to get into. And when you're first getting started, your rates are probably going to be a little bit higher. Now, once you get in and you start doing this, and you show that you're good, you might be able to go and apply for workers' comp somewhere else. You might be able to start getting some better rates. So you have to decide if you want to do that or not. But you could potentially do it. So that's how you're going to go find it, where you're going to find this. And you're probably going to, especially in the beginning, need to do something that's a little more state-based. Okay. Now, let's talk about how much it costs. So based on the volume of historical payroll, that's what it's going to be based off of. You're going to do a quarterly reporting. You're going to your payroll vendor. I suggest you use Gusto. We're going to have a link down below. You can go use Gusto. I've been using it since 2020. I love it. The first time you run your payroll, you'll get $100 Visa gift card from Gusto if you use my link. So make sure you go do it. I think the same thing. So yeah, helps both of us out. Anyways, you're going to have to do quarterly reporting. So you're going to use your payroll vendor. You're going to create a report. They might have one already created. You might have to create one yourself. It's super easy to do inside of Gusto to create a custom report. But basically, you just need to take how many wages you you paid out, the gross pay that you paid out in wages. So you're not subtracting anything for taxes or anything like that. You're just saying my people worked enough that they earned $1 million this quarter. That's what it was. So you put that number in there. And then there are calculations that they do on their side that I'm not like super privy to. I don't understand exactly how they work, but you submit your number, they come back and they say, okay, here's the percentage. And then that's what you have to pay as a premium for that. So that's kind of how it works. There's probably videos out there you could watch. I'm not going to go through the math of it or the specifics. And also, it's probably going to be based off of each state, your experience as a business owner, your longevity. There's going to be a lot of stuff that goes into that. Really, it is determined by the type of work as well that is performed by your employees, so caregivers. This type of work is going to be assigned by the National Council on Compensation Insurance, the NCCI. So that's a big component of it. There's the percentage of the payroll. There's like going to be how many employees you do have, longevity in business. There's a lot that goes into it, but it all will come back down to a base of the work performed by your employees. Okay. I'm getting like super technical in the weeds here. That's just kind of how it works when it comes to insurance. So there's an insurance person watching this. Please comment down below. I'd love to hear from you on how that works, and reach out. We might be able to do some connecting on that, and helping people in my programs, like the mastermind program, help them get the insurance that they need. So reach out to me. Go to assistedlivinginvesting.net/contact. Okay. Anyways, you can find calculators online for this to give you an idea of what this would look like. You would just plug in your quarterly reporting and your state, the type of work that you do, and it will spit out a number for you that's going to give you a pretty good ballpark. Typically, in my experience, we pay between about $1,500 and probably $2,300 per quarter. That's how we pay premiums for workers' comp. So if you were to break that down on a monthly basis, we're between like $500 and $800 a month is what we pay for workers' comp insurance. So that kind of gives you an idea of the ballpark. I do this. My facilities are 16-bed facilities. I have between 10 and 12 employees total. That work and cover shifts for us. So it kind of gives you an idea of what that would look like. And I would say that those numbers are pretty consistent between both Colorado and Idaho. Now, this is the Western United States. You might see something if you're in California is different, like on the coast, or if you're over on the East Coast, you're the Northeast, probably more expensive than it would be like in the Southeast or just in the South. Just kind of is going to depend, but gives you an idea, ballpark, what you could be expecting there. I would anticipate that that's going to be pretty common for what you're trying to get. Okay. Now let's talk about what workers' comp actually covers for your employees. It's going to do employee protection. Instance, you have an employee, they cut their finger, they've got to go to the hospital, they got to get stitches. It's going to protect them. It's an added layer if you were to offer health insurance to your employees. Your workers' comp will come in as a secondary benefit usually on that. So their primary health insurance would process the claims. Anything that's outstanding after that initial primary insurance processes, workers' comp is going to provide reimbursement for that. If there is no primary insurance, then the workers' comp becomes the primary insurance and processes the claim that way. So I could get into insurance processing claims and stuff like that all day long. I'm going to try to keep it simple. It will give you legal protection. Your employee is there, they fall, they break their ankle. You have your liability insurance in place to help protect you, but workers' comp is also going to show your liability insurance, show anything where if you live in a litigious society, if you get to that point where somebody is taking you to court, you have done the things that you were supposed to do, and you've provided adequate coverage, and your liability and workers' comp insurance should provide you as a business owner with attorneys to help combat those types of instances where somebody's coming after you to sue you. Okay. Risk mitigation. somebody falls and breaks an ankle, you have a thing in place where that insurance is going to pay the hospital bills for it. It's not going to come out of your pocket. It helps reduce the risk there. It makes you can reduce rates with your liability insurance and things like your property insurance. If you have that in place, it can benefit those rates as well, because it's reducing the risk that they're assuming. So having all of these insurances in place is going to help you out quite a bit, and reducing costs as a whole for all the insurance that you need. So that's a good one to have. It also can avoid lawsuits because you're providing that coverage to somebody. They break their ankle, you say go to the hospital, go get it taken care of. Here's workers' comp information, just hand that over to them or call them, figure it out, and then you can avoid those lawsuits. So you it's this is why I tell you, even if it's not required for you, so if you're in Texas and it's not required for you, I still highly suggest that you get this coverage, because the benefits there are big. Yes, it costs money up front. I mean, that's how this works, right? That's how insurance works. You pay premiums into it, you hope you don't have to use it, but when you do have to use it, you're so grateful that you have it in place. So that's why you want to do it. So let me talk to you a little bit here about my experience with workers' comp. And as I do this, if there's those of you that are live, go ahead and start typing in your questions now, because we'll get to our Q&A here in a little bit. And for those of you that are new, type in newbie. I love seeing the new people that hop in on these videos and are trying to learn as they're moving things along. So let's talk about my experience with workers' comp. Early on in our process, this was in Idaho. I didn't realize that there were quarterly reports that I had to do. So we got the insurance in place. And this was very early on in our process. We got the insurance in place. I gave it to them, and everything was good. And I got an email, and it was a quarterly report. So we did it. But then I don't know what happened. I don't know if they lost my email. I don't know if I didn't get it. I don't know if I didn't see it. I don't know what happened. If we had changed our rep there with the insurance company, something happened and we did not pay our next premium. And all of a sudden, I'm getting angry emails from the state insurance fund about our workers' comp, and hey, it's going to you missed a deadline, you haven't paid it, we've sent you notices. And I'm like looking around, I haven't missed any notices, but ultimately we did. Like, I couldn't prove that I had not received the stuff, that they didn't send it to me or whatever, and we had our insurance go away, and so I had to scramble and reapply. And I'm pretty sure we got higher rates because of that, because we let it lapse and we had to do it again. So you want to make sure that you stay on top of it. They will send you emails. Make sure you set that up in a way that you are going to receive their notices, and then make sure that you're staying on top of it. Anytime I get a notice now, I am staying on top of it. I'm getting it done within days. I have 30 days to do it. I'm trying to do it in like day 2 or 3, because I don't want to run into an issue where I lose my insurance. And the reason for that is we've had 2 instances in our facility where we've had to use our workers' comp. We had bed bugs at one of our facilities at one point. And if you've ever had bed bugs, it's horrible. Like, they get everywhere. They're hard to get rid of. We've been able to get rid of it. We've been bed bug free for years now. But we had them. We had a resident that was in another facility, and they brought them with them, and then they just kind of expanded from there. And in providing that care, one of our caregivers got some probably on her clothes and took them home, and she ended up having bed bug bites all over her leg. And so she had to go to the hospital and get those treated, and make sure everything was good in her home. And having workers' comp allowed us to cover those things. We worked with her, we worked with the insurance company, and we helped make sure everything was good, and she was fine, and everything worked out. Another instance happened probably about a year and a half ago. We had our one of our cleaning staff. They were cleaning, and they reached into, we had this little cart thing, they reached into it, and something happened. I don't know, some bottle of something fell or whatever. Something happened, and like clamped her hand, and like sprained a hand or broke a bone or something like that. Something weird kind of happened, and we had workers' comp, and so we were able to tell her, go go off to the hospital, go get that taken care of. Let's get you let's get you what you need. She had to be off work for about 2 2 weeks, and so workers comp helped to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for, supplement her wages and help out with that. And all of those things, without workers' comp, we would have been, I don't know where we would have been. We would have been paying hospital bills. We would have been in these weird situations, potentially opening ourselves up to liability issues. And that's something that you just want to avoid. So I've had that experience while doing this, as owning my businesses for since 2020. Like I've had the experience there. I am so glad that I had it. That we were able to work through the issues that we had, where we had this gap in coverage of about 15 days, which is actually about the time that bed bug incident happened. Luckily, the incident happened before the workers' comp got shut off, and we were able to get it taken care of. But had we waited, or had things just not lined up correctly, we would have been in a really bad situation. So you have to make sure you have it in place. Then you want to make sure that you are staying up to date on your quarterly payments and quarterly reporting, and that you keep it active during renewals, and that you look at it. It's okay if you want to shop around and look for other insurance and things like that and see if you can get better rates. It's totally fine. You just want to make sure that there is no gap in coverage, because you never know what's going to happen. You don't need it until you do, and then you are so glad you have it. And I'm speaking from experience on this. You want to make sure that you have that workers' comp insurance in place. I promise you, it's worth the money to not have to deal with the headaches that could come if you didn't have it in place. So doesn't happen often. Like, I've owned these since 2020. It's been over, really close to 5 years now. I've had 2 instances in 5 years. Doesn't happen very often, but man, it's so important for you to have that when you do, when you need it. The next thing I want to invite you is into the ALI Basics community. This is a community. It's the easiest way for you to work directly with me. We have monthly member-only calls. We actually do one of those this week. So if you get in today or tomorrow, you can hop into that monthly Q&A call. Ask me whatever questions you have. Those are recorded for the members inside of that community, and help you along your path to launching your assisted living business. I love helping people and coaching people. I'd love to do that. So go check out ALI Basics at assistedlivinginvesting.net/basics. And I'd love to help you get through that. So with that, I want to remind you to like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell as well, so you get notified every time we put out content like this. We go live on Tuesdays today, and we put out content on Thursdays as well, to make sure that you're getting the help that you need to help you launch your assisted living business. I am actually not seeing any Q&A, which is totally fine with me, because I have to leave and take my girls off to something tonight. With that, I'm going to thank you for watching. I really appreciate, for those of you that are live, being here. I really enjoy chatting with you and helping you along your path to launching your assisted living business. Make sure you go get your free business plan checklist at assistedlivinginvesting.net/BP checklist. And I'd love to help you make continual progress on your path. Does residential assisted living sound interesting to you, but you don't know how to get started? At Assisted Living Investing, I'm here to help beginners like you launch their assisted living business in the next 12 months. I love helping and coaching people. It is one of my favorite things to do. I love it. And I'm so excited to help you along your path. And remember, it doesn't take a lot, just a little bit. Just keep going step by step by step. And I promise you, if you do and you are consistent and persistent, you are going to be successful. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.